Hi Aries, this is a 3-card tarot spread for yourselves. I'm using this rather unusual Turkish deck. It's actually the good old Rider-Waite. It's just all in Turkish, which to me seems interesting. I can't speak Turkish, but there you go. We get nothing without a bit of variety, do we? Variety kind of really makes things happen. So, how are you guys doing? Hope life is treating you well at the moment. Life is treating us all a bit strangely. That's the only way I can put it right now. But that's life. Pluto has just gone retrograde, and it's going to take a lot of faith to really kind of see the truth and see the way ahead as something that we can deal with, something we can contend with even and work with. But it's always possible to find a way forward, you know. So what's the way forward in the cards for Aries at the moment? Let's turn over the top card here, and it's the Four of Cups. There we are. Now, this character is kind of looking rather reluctant. It looks as if things are starting to happen for this character, excuse me. Not that they're going to start happening, but that they've actually started happening already. It's cup energy, so that's kind of water sign energy, really. Cancer, Scorpio and Pisces. But it's what do you want, you know? What do you actually want to get out of life? Looks like you've got plenty going on here, but maybe it's not enough. Now, there's two ways to look at that, Aries. Sometimes to actually get further, it's best to just look at what we've already got and not worry too much about trying to manifest the next step until we've actually made the most of these 3 steps. But there's definitely some longing, there's definitely some desire going on, some wanting more, you know. And who doesn't want more? That's where you've got to do the reality check, and that's something you've got to do for yourself, really, because, as always, different strokes for different folks. This character is in a pretty position, really, under a nice clear sky and under a beautiful tree as well. And it looks as if the low-hanging leaves there make me think of low-hanging fruit. So maybe you're doing more than fine in the situation you're in, Aries. Whatever you want to do really is up to you. But the hand is coming from the cloud there, and it's offering you something. And because it's a cup thing, it's another thing you've got to wish for, another thing you've got to work for. But you get nothing and you get nowhere without putting some work into it. So I wouldn't ignore this at all. It's just a question of how soon do you actually want to start moving forward on this journey. There are restrictions on us all over the world at the moment, but it's surprising how much you can actually do within what seems like your own small world. And within this character's own small world, there's a hand coming out of the cloud showing kind of possibilities of alchemy, a definite hint of manifestation there as well. And so get your manifesting head on, Aries. Decide what it is you actually want, because you will have the energy, being Aries, to make it happen. That fire sign nature of Aries is really kind of positive. It could be kind of burning up what's keeping you where you are at the moment, and actually, you know, burning down the walls that we always seem to put around ourselves, whatever's going on in life. But it's also the fire, you know, if you think of it as the fire in an engine to actually push you forward, to make things move forward. So things are more positive than they seem. That's what I'm taking from that one at the moment. And there's a lot to be said for getting close to nature. There really is. Like, whenever I'm indoors, I like to be near this wall hanging thing here, because it reminds me of exactly what is outside my window, which is real trees, natural trees. And because it's an Indian print thing as well, it kind of puts me in touch with my mystical side, which is has always been interested in Indian things. So there's an outgoing theme coming up. That's sort of what I'm rambling on about, and that's what's there in the card. You know, there is plenty in place already, but when I say plenty, it's not really enough. So it's time to think about getting ahead, you know. It's always possible to get ahead, no matter how much you feel stuck where you are. Or even if you're happy where you are at the moment, you don't really feel you want to do much more. The character in this card doesn't look all that happy. He looks reasonably content, but there could be a lot more happiness going on for that guy, could there not? Let's see where we're going next. Okay, let us have another card, please. The middle card, and this is going to be the heart of the matter for Aries. This is going to be telling me, telling us all actually, why you guys are sort of feeling reasonably happy with where you are at the moment. And I realise you may not be happy with where you are at the moment. In fact, that's probably the case looking at the deck here. But there's something making you want to stay in place, you know. There's something making you want to keep your head down. And it's not just the crazy restrictions that we're under, all of us right now around the world. Now it's the Eight of Swords. So we've got air sign energy here. Okay, this is Gemini, Libra or Aquarius somewhere around you or somewhere in your birth chart, or maybe all of those things play into this one. But we've moved on from the cups and just kind of wanting and wishing to actually, this is showing us something about what we could do, decisions that we don't absolutely have to make these decisions, but we're going to need to make them at some point, okay, because they are actually on our plate, these decisions. And here we see the choice again. Do you stay happily where you are, or do you make the most of that kind of mystical number 8 energy? And because that's all about as above, so below. Do you actually get your manifesting head on, like I told you to a minute ago, or do you just stay where you are? It's going to be worth making a move at some point, but maybe you're happy where you are for now. And if that's the case, guys, do use that energy to actually build up. The fact that you're, sort of fairly comfortable where you are means that you're not in a big hurry to move on. But moving on is going to come. So start making a plan, okay? Take that blindfold off. That's the first thing to do. Mind, she's got to get her hands free, hasn't she, to actually get that blindfold off in the first place. So set about setting yourself free, Aries. That is really what this is telling us. Maybe you're happy where you are, but it's not serving you. It's not exactly what suits you. It might suit you at the moment, but it's not going to suit you in the long term, Aries. That's what this is telling us. In the background of this card, there's a kind of magical looking castle right back in the distance behind these swords here. Now, she's got her back turned to it, so it's right at the back, but maybe that should be at the front. Maybe that should be something you should be striving towards. I say should be. If it's the case that you should be, then you could be, and you actually will be at some point, because manifestation works like that. Sometimes we don't actually want to make the move. Sometimes we don't feel we need to make the move, but we just find ourselves doing the right things when we consult the psychic energies and when we consult the tarot in particular. Spirit guidance is strong and powerful, and especially in this card because it's a number 8, it's as above, so below, as I said a second ago. And that is important because whatever we do for the most positive outcome, when we really, want to manifest things good, whatever we do is going to be supported by the spirit guides, by the universe, by the divine. You just make that move and you try and always act in faith, right? This life doesn't give us a lot of reasons to be faithful about things like that, but that's all part of the test. That's all part of the kind of, we're being formed in a crucible in this earthly life that we all have at the moment. It's only a tiny part of the picture, and whatever your life purpose is, stretches in from past lives and will stretch on into future lives, and there will be, believe me friends, most of us have had kind of hundreds of past lives, and we will actually have many more to come. How many? I don't know. I've got no idea about that because that is only known in the divine realms. But that's why it's good to consult those divine realms. That's why it's good to think on that basis that you could move forward no matter how trapped you might feel and no matter how comfortable you might feel in the trapped situation. You can move forward. That's the big message of the Eight of Swords here, because we know she could actually get out of this trap if she wanted. All she's got to do is wriggle a bit and the sword that she's tied to will come out of the ground, and then she's got that bit more freedom. But it's up to her, and it's up to you, Aries. It really is. Okay, now that is the heart of the matter. And that is why, in the first card here, it's looking much more comfortable to sit still, to stand still, and not to worry too much about what's come in here. But see them together, guys, okay? Because there is no point being tied down if you don't want to be. Or, if you just feel reasonably happy, reach for the skies within yourself and then reach for the stars above you out there in the universe. It's the kind of, the inner journey links into the outer journey. That's what this is all about. Okay, so let's have a third and final card in this spread for the sign of Aries, which I'm doing very late April 2020. But you could watch this anytime you want, so if you're watching in the future, hi to you and thanks. If you're drawn to a reading, then it is meant for you and it is well worth listening to, believe me. Okay, so let's turn over Card number 3, it is the Ace of Swords. Now, this is great, but this does mean making a decision. This is not going to be an easy thing. Now, it's kind of an outcome card. It's further on. This is what the future is bringing, okay? But this decision is something that really does need to be made. And the sword here is crowned. And it's as well as being crowned, there are kind of great fruits and greenness and fertility really showing in what's hanging from the top of the sword here. Also leaves blowing all around, or are they lemons? Who knows? If life gives you lemons, turn them into leaves and blow away. That's my advice. But you got to turn something into something. Alchemy is important here, and if you don't believe alchemy is possible, well, that's probably just the way the world presents alchemy to us, as if it's like a nutty thing that's mad stories from the past. But all the mad stories from the past have some meaning, and a huge amount of what we regard as myth and legend is actual reality at one level or another. Okay, so manifestation, alchemy is really strongly showing in this card. And look, we've got clouds all around the hand like we had in card number 1. Okay, so that theme of something coming in from the wider, the spiritual and the universe is really still showing forth here. So that's a theme all the way through this reading, Aries. It's time to move. It's time to get things done. And it's actually time for positive thinking as well. And I don't just mean positive thinking, oh, yeah, everything's lovely, because everything isn't lovely all the time. That's the reality. But it's positive thinking in the terms of actually positive, make something happen, you know, in the binary kind of view of things that all our computers run on. And I'm sure our brains run in quite a binary way as well, if the truth be known. You can either have the 1 of something happening or the 0 of nothing happening. And the 1 of something happening is what it's all about, because we're on a path through life. It is never a really, really good thing to stand still for too long. It's a very good thing sometimes to stand still for a short time, or maybe even a period of years when you're in a situation that suits you and allows you to grow. But growing is what really needs to happen, and growing is what this reading has all been about, Aries. I am going to wrap it up there. Thank you very much for watching. I'll be along again soon with more readings. Do subscribe, tap the bell, and make sure you don't miss anything, and take a look through the Twig Brother channel. There are well over 650 readings on there now, actually. There's loads and loads of readings. I do them all the time. If you would like a reading, 35and83@gmail.com, and I will see what I can do for you. Okay, and I'm sure I'll be able to do something for you. So readings or anything else, actually, email 35and83@gmail.com, and thumbs up if you've enjoyed it. Leave me a comment. We will share the journey, and I'll see you again very soon. Aries, have a good month. Peace.